What's up, guys? Today we are gonna put that tire on that wheel. This is a 14-inch rear tire for my pit bike, which is an SSR 125. I'm doing a big wheel conversion from the 14 and 12s to 17 and 14, and I'm also putting street tires onto it because this is primarily going to be for stunts. So first off, for this process, I'm going to be taking off the sprocket and the rotor, just because while I'm changing the tire, I don't want to have to deal with not damaging them on the ground because it's going to get kind of rough. So these bolts on both sides are a 10 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off now. For my specific tires, these are rotational tires. If you can see that arrow right there. So I need to make sure that they go on in a specific way. So I was looking for the differences in between these two sides so that I can make sure I do that, and then I get both of these back on the correct side. And the only difference that I could see here is that has 2 steps, and this side, if it will focus, only has 1 step on it. The tubes that I bought came with this really goofy valve core tool, but you just stick it in there, twist it to the left. The valve core will come out and it won't be able to hold air. Alright, I got the valve core out. The next thing is to break both of the beads on both sides. So it should just be as simple as pressing on it on both sides. And now you can see the bead is broken. So I'm just gonna do that to both sides real fast. Alright, so I got both beads broken now. I'm gonna bring this fella over here. This is the process, and this is actually the first time that I've, 1, done this by hand, and 2, worked with an inner tube, which is why I busted 2 holes in that one. So today the goal is not to do that. So you want to take that end of the spoon, jam it in there, and you can see it's grabbing the bead. And you want to bring that over the top like so. And then, wow, this is so difficult. So for the next one, I'm gonna have to do this with 2 hands, but you're gonna have to release some pressure here in order to allow you enough space to get this one in here. All right, so you got both of them in there, and now you're sitting there asking yourself, what do I do next? Well, it's quite simple. Just pull this one very carefully off to the side and keep on ringing around the rosy. Now it is a lot easier to do if you have 3 spoons, but I only bought 2 spoons. Harbor Freight, they're pretty great. It was like $9. So I actually think this is what ended up being my problem last time. I grabbed the rear bead and the inner tube at the same time. Not good. Alright, I think I managed to meander my way out of there just fine. Front bead's off. So next, push the valve out, and then we're gonna pull the inner tube through the front side of the top. Alright, I just reached in there and grabbed it. I'm just gonna get her out of there. Come on out, girl. Yeah. God damn. That smells delicious. Did we poke a hole in it? I don't think we did, boys. I think we're in business. So this is obviously a 9114, and this one is a 19014. It's very close. This one is much further off from the original size. So now we just repeat the process for the front bead, for the rear bead. We're going to be using the squiggly part of our iron. Get it in there, lever it out, work your way around. Pretty simple. All right, there we go. We got the tire off. Once I got the first 2 spoons in there from that side, I actually went around to the other side and just used this part and kind of just like popped it out from the backside. Viable technique. Now I have to figure out the rotation. So it has to go this way. So it's going this way on the bike. So I need the sprocket side on the left side. Now if you remember from the earlier part of the video, the rotor side had the extra step here, and the sprocket side had the 1 step. So I know that the sprocket side needs to be on the left side so that it will rotate this way, as denoted. So for the first bead, you may need to use these, but most of the time, it's so hard. Maybe you can see this, but most of the time you can just kind of work it on there without using those. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. But it's relatively straightforward. Just try to meander that first one on there. The first one's usually the easiest. So all right, so I just kind of use my body weight to press down, and as you can see here, I got it. It's probably about halfway around by now. So I'm just gonna go ahead, take this, and I'm trying to get under the rim there. I gotta get off my knees. And then you're just gonna, super simple, go like that. And I'm gonna need to get another one in there. Can't do it with one hand, so sorry guys. Alright guys, I got the first one on. It was a little bit of a struggle. So now you want to find that hole. That is going to be where your valve stem goes. So you want to go in from the front side while you have all this space here. This is very important. Anyways, this is pretty important. So I just decided to try and putting the whole tube in first, and that actually seems to have worked out. So I can see the valve core or the valve from the other side. So I kind of lined it up with the hole, and then I'm gonna try and just like push it through with my thumb, and that did work. We have a success, ladies and gentlemen. We got the tire on. So now I'm just gonna secure this down so it doesn't move at all. Nice, and now the tricky part is going to be to get this top bead on without popping this tube. Just get it stuffed in there. So same, you're gonna get it in, leverage it over, get the other one, work your way around. Same process, just in reverse, guys. All right, so here's the problem that I just ran into. I'm almost there, but as you can see, and as I'm going further, it just continues to get tighter and tighter. And this is usually because your bead has started to seat. So on the opposite end, this bead will start to seat and it won't want to move, which will make it really tight. So just go ahead and give that a press down. And I did felt it felt it. I did feel it actually release from there, so that should release some of the tension, because one, if you keep on going when it gets tight like that, one, it's really hard, and two, what you're going to actually end up doing is ripping up this bead. It gets tight, go ahead and make sure that bead is released. Sometimes it will also seat on the back as well, so just, you know, give that a check, give it a press, make sure it's all nice and malleable, and then you should be able to continue meandering your way around. Well, it was an absolute fight to get this guy on here, and as you can see, I did do a good amount of damage here from the ground, along the rim from the ground, and also along the rim here from the tire irons. Now for me, I don't really care all that much about the way, I also did some here, don't really care all that much about the way that looks, but if you do, I would suggest not doing it on concrete. You could do it on, like, you know, piece of plywood or something, and you can also get like rim protectors for the bar while you're doing that. Now comes the moment of truth to put, first of all, get that a little tighter. Not super worried if this isn't crazy tight. Put the valve core back in here, see if it airs up. Hopefully we didn't puncture any holes. If not, we got to take the front bead back off, change the inner tube, put it back on. Hopefully don't poke a hole again. So yeah, I hope we don't have to do that. Alright guys, so after further inspection and trying to get some air in it, I have found out that I put a hole in the inner tube while putting the front bead on. So I'm gonna have to take it off, take the inner tube out, replace it with the one I have here. But honestly, I don't want to do that today. So I'm gonna wait for another day to do that. I'm just gonna, you know, clean up for now, and then hopefully the next time I'm here, I will be able to finish this guy and finish that guy. Hopefully no more holes in the inner tubes, because I'm gonna lose my mind if I keep doing that. And then this beautiful boy will finally be ready to ride this season. It's actually a brand new engine on a 2005 chassis, which is why I need to get a new sprocket for the front, because on the 2005 wheels, the front sprocket, or the front rotor, it only has 3 mounting points instead of 4, which is what my new wheel has and what the new models have. So you can just get in, if you happen to be in my situation, which I doubt, you can just get you know, modern day OEM part, and it should work fine. So that's gonna be all for this video. Next time I am hoping to have this finished up, and we'll run it and ride it for the first time on the streets, like a bunch of bad boys. It'll be really exciting, and I'm really excited to get to ride this season and get to hone in my skills for stunts. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, whatnot, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys.